Hey everybody, it's Coach Geordie here, head coach of Ottawa Swimming. And today I want to outline for you a number of drills that are really important from my perspective at establishing a swimmer's ability in the front crawl or freestyle, especially early in the season. This is going to be more of a chat approach, one way given, but I wanted to sort of get this out there to share with our swimmers, with you, our coaches, and everyone. So the three most common stroke limiters that I have been seeing for 20 years are crossover, head too high in the water, and the hand too high on extension. So the first and third there, the crossover and the hand too high on extension, are the big focus of this drill progression, but the head is in there as well. So it all starts with your feet and leaving fins on. So the vast majority of recreational swimmers or swimmers that are maybe just still learning is to give them time to think, give them enough time to supply oxygen to the brain so the brain can make those neuromuscular connections and to learn and to ingrain the movement patterns without the panic of breathing, the discomfort of sinking. So the fins are a big one. I have a video on YouTube all about that. So the fins are on. Now we're going to do a kick virtually. We're going to do a kick down the lane called a Superman kick. So this is going to help the swimmer to get a feel for and to see what the front end should look like. So when we're extended underwater, we do not want that hand above shoulder height. And the reason for that is this is a very weak position for the shoulder. Not only that, in this weak position, if we exert force, and it will be a downward force, then it's not a very healthy movement either for the shoulder. As soon as we bring this hand slightly in front of the shoulder, it engages our internal rotators and massively increases the strength and helps to insulate the shoulder more so from injury. So the position we want on extension when swimming is with the hand just below shoulder height. And from the least experienced to the most experienced swimmers, what I see as the most common limiter is exactly that the hand, maybe it's extending properly, but then it shoots up. And why does it shoot up, especially on the backside, away from breath? Because people love to push down to stabilize themselves while they're breathing. So the Superman kick has the swimmers with both hands extended, hands just below shoulder height and shoulder width. Hands, of course, are relaxed, and they're going to kick for the most part with their head down, but they're going to peek up every once in a while to check on their position and ensure that they've got the shoulder width and that the hands haven't floated up. When they need to breathe, well, first of all, let me say, keep the exertion level low so that you don't have to breathe very often. But when they do, they can have a couple of choices. They can do a breaststroke and then get back down, or they can do a little skull, take a breath and get back down. But over 25 meters, ideally, they're only breathing 3 times because, again, their exertion level is low. So they're seeing it, they're feeling it. Now, let's take the drill to a one-arm swim drill. So they are establishing that single arm, we'll call this the backside arm. They're going to breathe every time, every stroke, but they're going to pause for 2 seconds on extension. So they're swimming with one arm, entering and extending, pausing and seeing that position again, and then taking a stroke, working on the low head position for the breath, and bringing it through again. Pause. Pause. So now we're establishing that position from a dynamic nature. So there's a lot of drills you can do from one arm, of course. You can focus on all of the different phases of the stroke, your entry, your extension, your catch, your mid-pull, your finish, your recovery. But right now, early in the season, or as you're learning to swim, this height on extension is what I recommend as being the major thing to focus on. I talked about turning the head to breathe. There is a habit with a lot of swimmers when they do this drill, again, they're keeping the exertion level low, is to just keep the head down. Well, they're missing what really is the hardest part about swimming, and that is breathing. So breathe every stroke. And of course, you're going 25 meters with one arm and then changing arms on the way back, because everyone has a stronger side and a weaker side when it comes to breathe. So we've done the Superman, and then we've done the one arm, focusing on width and the height on extension, starting to think about the head as well. Now, this next drill is a classic drill for head position, and that is the side swim. So again, with the fins still on, you're going to swim, or kick, excuse me, down the lane with that lead arm slightly below shoulder height, but you're vertical through the shoulders. So you're in this position. This arm can be just flat on the side, or if you want to challenge your buoyancy a little bit, bring the elbow up into what we call a shark fin, but move the palm around so the palm is facing your feet. Right? Ideally, I would have like cables to suspend me from the ceiling, but we don't have that in the budget quite yet. So now you're slowly kicking up and down. In fact, you can increase the velocity a little bit here because it does aid in the drill. One arm down, other arm back. Now, what we're looking for here is this bottom goggle. That's what I want you to focus on. Is you've got your ear down, turning a little bit towards the ceiling. And I want you to hopefully get low enough so you see a little water in your bottom goggle. Now, the irony about your head position in swimming is this, that people tend to want to be a little bit higher. They take the crown of their head and they lift it out of the water. Well, you know what happens is you lose your bow wave. This big nugget up here is pushing the water away, building a bow wave, and after the bow wave is a trough that we breathe out of. When we lift our head, the water actually comes closer to our mouth. So what we want to do is, instead of being high, is to push the crown of our head down and create that trough out of which we breathe. So this drill gives you a lot of opportunity to fool around with the head position because you're holding that position for 25 meters. In fact, if you're uncomfortable, you can switch sides at 12.5. But you should be at a point relatively soon where you can hold it for 25 meters. So there's a focus on the head position. But you know what will happen, right? You know what's going to happen with this lead arm? You're thinking about your head position, and this lead arm is going to crawl up. So you got to keep coming back, keep coming and checking where that lead arm is. Make sure that the hand is slightly below shoulder height. And of course, make sure it's pointing straight down the lane. It happens all the time. Coach, why am I going crooked? You're going crooked, swimmer, because you're going in the direction of your arm. All right, typically it'll be coming across. So again, there's that sign that this swimmer will be more than likely exhibit crossover when they do start swimming. So these drills help to reset that. So Superman kick, one arm swim, side swim, and now we do what can be the more challenging drill, but it doesn't have to be, because you want to stress the side swim position. It's a progression from the side swim. So what we're going to do is we are going to focus, or we're only going to use one arm. This other arm is going to stay on your side inactive. You're going to start off in side swim, establishing that good position with the lead arm and the head. And then you're going to do a stroke with the lead arm. keeping your head down. You're going to rotate down, pull, rotate up, keep the head down, and then recover over the surface, extend, and come back to side swim position. Again. People get all confused. What people start to do is they start to breathe to the stroke side. That's easy. You can tell the swimmers, if this drill feels easy when you're doing it, you're probably doing it wrong. All right. Now, this is about the lead arm, of course, keeping it in the right position. And again, I want you to pause 2 seconds when you get out front. So you're coming out, 1,000, 2,000, another stroke. So it's about the lead arm. It's also about the head and the body position. Here's why. With this drill specifically, if you lift your head a little too high, or you push it a little too deep, it's going to cause oscillation. And you're going to find out the oscillation when you pause upon returning to the breathing position. What's going to happen is you're going to come back, and you may initially have good water, but then you'll bob and you'll submerge and come back up. So one of the big goals of this drill is when you do your rotation both directions, do it smoothly and focus on your head position, making sure that head remains on that, turning on that spit or that axis, so that when you come back to the breathing position and you hold it there for 2 seconds, the water level doesn't move and you don't bob. So 4 drills: Superman drill, 1 arm drill, side swim, and what I call 1 arm offside, pausing. In terms of starting off a kicker, a swimmer with the kick early in the season, fluttering with fins, I'm a big advocate of that. Besides giving people time to get comfortable and building an aerobic base, the fins also help to establish dynamically the ankle mobility, which for new swimmers can be a great limiter. For runners especially, males, in my experience, males more than females have limited ankle mobility. The 2 drills that I like to use with regards to kicking are, first of all, simply a one-leg kick. But what I always like to explain to people with the one-leg kick is it's not half a flutter. You're going to do half a dolphin kick. So we're going to take a big motion, we're going to exaggerate the motion so that they can really sense the hip drive. So it's going to be slow and big. The tempo I'm about to use is the tempo I want my swimmers to use, which is 1 and 2 and 3. And you drive the hip forward, crack the whip through, and then bring it back with a straight recovery. So it's a slow and big kick. The second kick drill that I really like is to kick on the back. Now, kicking on your back is super easy. You go really fast. It's easy. The body position lends itself more to velocity. However, what one needs to focus on when you're kicking on the back is recovery. So when we kick, we want a straight leg recovery down. I'll do it up right here. We want a straight leg recovery down, and then that nice whip motion coming forward. So 2 things when people are doing a flutter on their back. First is you have more of a feeling for recovery. Because you're working downward into buoyancy, there's more resistance, and hence you have a greater sense of positioning and movement of the leg going downward. So make sure it's a straight leg recovery. If someone's not focusing, what they might do is bend the knee and use the heel to cut through the water downward, because that is the quickest way to get it down through buoyancy. So we don't want to do that. We want a straight leg recovery. Now, the buoyancy on the other side accelerates our kick, but we don't want to drive the knee through the surface of the water. We want to leave the knee behind and crack the whip with the foot. So we're driving the hip, we leave the knee behind, and we crack the whip with the foot and go back into a straight leg recovery. So there's the one leg kick and the kicking on your back as far as two drills that really help to establish the kick early in the season. Along with the 4 other drills, I hope that this video helps you in getting established, getting reestablished, or just improving as a swimmer. Once again, I'm Geordie McConnell, head coach of Ottawa Swimming.